is those inexorable fanatics remind us every January Australian sporting crowds can't, want or shouldn't be allowed to sing. If you're sufficiently enamored with football, however, chances are your team's rollicking brass and banjo ensemble is a major, if daggy, staple of your life's soundtrack. Most were recorded in 1972 by the fabled singers, which included Ivan Mr. Movies Hutchinson and local jazz legends Frank Trainer and Smacker Fitzgibbon. Fitzgibbon was said to be as Melbourne as the Yarra. He died 7 years after recording the dozen songs that still feature at funerals, as ringtones and at football stadiums around Australia. He was just 49. His epitaph at Brighton Cemetery reads, "What joy you brought us all, one Richmond over from Tigerland. There are better lyrics, better compositions and better melodies. But there's nothing that can remotely compare to the Tiger Army in full voice at the MCG." It's hard to imagine a club song ever being sung with more gusto than the 2013 elimination final. But therein lies its problem. It's too good. It offers too much hope. And hope, as that old lifer in Shawshank Redemption said, is a dangerous thing. On the lips of any other supporter base, the song wouldn't work. It wouldn't have the same pain and longing. And as the original composer Jack Malcolmson said, without the yellow and black it's just an ordinary song. For any club tempted to tinker with a classic, this version serves as a cautionary tale. As for fans of pre-Great War double entendre, here's the original tune. To Carlton, we're the Navy Blues. It shouldn't work. It sounds like a dirge. It's best sung in a state of inebriation. And the lyrics to the original, Lily of Laguna, couldn't be more problematic. But it has a certain swagger. It's no call to arms, but it comes with a certain foreboding. It would have been the ideal musical accompaniment to the entry of John Nichols, whose thighs Don Watson once wrote could prop up a jetty. Likewise, its assured tempo suits a supporter base that was always cut from a different cloth to the more rough-hewn neighbours. This is a club, after all, whose former #1 ticket holder, and the country's longest-serving Prime Minister, would watch games from his chauffeur-driven Bentley, which was perched on a specially constructed ramp. Sir Robert Menzies was presumably rolling in his grave when, in 1994, the club flirted with an up-tempo version of the song, sung to the tune of Lou Graham's Midnight Blue. Graham looked a bit like handballer Fraser Brown. But his following days were over, and he didn't have a prayer up against that iconic trombone intro. 3 Fitzroy, we're the boys from old Fitzroy. As a kid, I remember seeing Bernie Quinn and Ob drop punts from the centre square at the Junction Oval. I'd never seen the like. As Barry Dickens later wrote, the way he ran was poetry written by the wind, and the way he leapt for the ball was as effortless as laughter. His long, tireless frame loped along, rather like a gazelle with decorum. But apparently I couldn't pronounce his name. I could therefore never be a Roy boy. I can still hear that song, however, the most joyous of all the VFL originals, blaring over the tinny PA, Fitzroy, Fitzroy, the club we hold so dear. That song kept people alive during our bad days, inaugural Hall of Famer and composer of the lyrics Bill Stevens said. People used to sing it, and sing it, and sing it. They sang it one final time at the MCG in August 1996. The team lost to Richmond by 25 goals. The faithful burnt flags and wept. The players did a lap and the song played. Commentating on radio, Rex Hunt superimposed his own lyrics. Out of the competition will be next year, he droned. It was doggerel befitting the AFL's greatest dog act. Fitzroy fans pour onto the field after the last ever Fitzroy AFL game against Richmond at the MCG. Photograph Getty Images. 4 Brisbane Bears dare to beat the Bear. In the early 1990s, with his club $27 million in debt on the playing list, described as the biggest bunch of misfits and renegades in the history of the game, Brisbane owner Ruben Pellerman would entertain guests in a room adjacent to the coach box. They'd be having a merry old time, champagne, caviar, the works. By half-time, however, everyone would have upped and left. Keeping with this spirit, Mike Brady's highly caffeinated theme song seems to conk out halfway through. To begin with, it's an old-fashioned belter. It's impossible to sing along without clenching your fist. But Brady quickly tempers expectations. He goes from "we're hot, we're mean, we're strong" to "we're good, we're keen, we're a team still." It wins points for its guitar solo, its rhetorical questions, and its pitch-perfect capture of the Skaisberitis Tremble era. 5 Collingwood, good old Collingwood forever. No other song reverberates off the MCG walls quite like Collingwood's. At the height of the collywobbles, Brady was drafted in, mainly to substitute to owe the premierships a cakewalk line with "there is just one team we favour." But his restrained version didn't cut it with the hordes. Nor, thankfully, did this effort from a borderline comatose Jack Thompson. In an age of fun facilitators, kiss cam and assorted spruik merchants chirruping over the PA, Collingwood song gives us everything we need and want: an old Boer War recruitment ditty, a few cheesy lines, a bit of trumpet and tuba action, and some tacked-on Cockney slang. Now that's fan engagement. 6. The best and worst of the rest, whether it's Sydney's banjo solo, the uproarious opening few bars of Melbourne's Grand Old Flag, or the toe-tapping vim of the Hawthorn and North Melbourne themes, the old Fable Singers versions still stack up. But some of the newer clubs have had their moments. When the West Coast Eagles became the first interstate club to take the VFL-AFL pennant out of Victoria, the song blared to sullen and rapidly emptying stands. Ground announcer Mike Williamson implored the crowd to show some respect. But the openly hostile lyrics, "So watch out, all you know-alls, all you wise men from the East didn't sit too well with the vanquished." They eventually watered it down, of course, to the point where it's by far the most prosaic of all the club songs. Hopefully GWS don't go down that path. Their Cossack-inspired heel kicker is brimming with bravado and preposterous enough to work. And we may as well get used to it. The lesson, clearly, is to never fiddle with a good thing. Both Geelong and Hawthorn ran out to bastardized versions of their song prior to the 2008 Grand Final. Indeed, Geelong seemed desperate to dance to a new tune in the 80s and 90s, with Barry Crocker's "Come On the Cats" later making way for Cat Attack. When the latter played as the Cats ran out for the 1992 Grand Final, coach Malcolm Blight sported a "What fresh hell is this?" look. It was positively Mozartian compared to what his hometown dished up, however. Here we go. Camry Crows not only potted all the other clubs individually, it ended with a grab from the Toyota jingle. The club quickly bade good riddance to it. Let us never speak of it again.